Will everyone please join us in the well? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Griffin.
Here.
Bishop. Conwell. Gray. Hairston. Harsh. House Jones. Jones. Casey. Kelly. Moorer. McCormack. Polensik. Santana. Slife. Spencer. Starr. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Will everyone please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll make the following statement. This meeting of Cleveland City Council is a lawful meeting. Under Section 605.04 of the Codified Ordinances, no person with purpose to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting shall do any act which obstructs or interferes with the due conduct of such meeting. Members of the public are invited to speak only under the rules set by this council. Disruptions, including but not limited to speaking out of turn and making loud noises and loud utterances, are in violation of the rules and interfere with the due conduct of this lawful meeting. Such disruptions may constitute a misdemeanor and a violation of Section 605.04. Anyone who disrupts this lawful meeting in violation of the codified ordinances commits misdemeanors and is subject to prosecution. The following is the first and only warning. If this meeting is disrupted, I will gavel a halt to the proceedings and direct the assembled officers to escort any person participating in the disruption out of the chamber. Once persons participating in the disruption are outside of the chambers, the officers will close the doors and the disruptors will be handled as directed by the Director of Public Safety. The council proceedings will not begin again until those that participated in the disruption have left the chamber and the chamber doors are closed. Disruptors will not be allowed back in the chamber after the meeting resumes. Again, this is the first and only warning. Madam Clerk, please dispense with the journal.
By Councilmember Polensik, that the reading of the minutes of the last meeting be dispensed with, the journal approved. Seconded by Councilmember Starr.
Thank you. We'll move to public comment. And once again, all the public commenters, you have 3 minutes. When you see the yellow come up, that means to wrap it up. When you see the time to wrap it up, that means that it's, when you see the red, that means to end it, okay? Carrie. All right, the first person that we have is Charlene Felicia Moore. Charlene Felicia Moore is from Ward 4. She's here to talk about the topic of naming Dickens Avenue for Jonah Moore. She's not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. You have the floor, Ms. Moore. See the guy Travail sitting right in the front. Could you give this to him? Right there. Yeah. Right here. Yep. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Hey, Blaine.
Hey.
Felicia Moore.
Hey.
Y'all don't know me by Charlene. Everybody knows me by Felicia. My name is Felicia Moore, and I'm a community activist in the neighborhood. Me and my cousin Louis Moore do the Grandparents and Family Day. I'm naming the street after my father. Hey, Caldwell. I'm naming the street after my father, Mr. Jonah Moore Way, instead of Dickens Way, because my dad is 93 years old. He's the only one left in the community, except for one more neighbor on Hillgrid that's 90-something. So my dad has been labor foreman for bridges and docks. He rebuilt the bridges. My dad is our dad. I can't keep saying mine. Our dad is a veteran in the Army. Our dad has been a grandfather of the street for 60 years. Our dad is the only one left. He's been the grandfather to all the people in the neighborhood. So I'm going to have a celebration in honor of Mr. Moore Senior Way. He's 93 years old. He's a baby out of 14 brothers and sisters. He's the only one left. My dad, like I said, he rebuilt the Cleveland bridges. He's the labor foreman. He was the supervisor. Okay, we've been living on that street ever since I was 4, and I'm going on 65. I just look like this, still good. So anyway, at the end of the day, that's Mr. Moore, and everybody know him as Joe Moore. Everybody know him as Mr. Moore, but his name is Joe Moore. Okay, so my dad has both of his legs amputated, you know, but my dad still drives because he drove me to my cousin's funeral, and I caught hell all the way out there Saturday. Our dad still drives. Our dad has 2 prosthetic legs. My dad has been the community grandfather on Dickens ever since 1960, okay? So he's a veteran and all that. Like I said, he worked for the city of Cleveland. He redid these bridges and they ain't fell down yet. So you know he had to be a soldier, and he is a soldier in the Army. Like I said, my name is Felicia Moore, and I'm a community activist in this neighborhood. I help my cousin Louis Moore and do all kind of events in the neighborhood. I'm trying to do something extra on the street because my dad is the oldest man on the street. There's nobody else left. He's the only older man on the street, and he's been living in that same house, even though he done rigged it up, backed all kind of stuff up, but he's still there. And so I'm going to have an event for my father June the 7th at Zelma Watson George in honor of Mr. Moore Senior Way. So we're going to honor my father for his 93rd birthday. We're going to honor my father for being a veteran. We're going to honor my father for being the oldest, longest man on the street in the neighborhood.
Thanks, Ms. Moore.
You understand? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next, we have Daryl Houston. Daryl Houston is from Bedford Heights. He's here to talk about city issues. He's not representing anyone, not being paid by anyone.
First of all, I want to thank my community for all the support that I've been receiving over the last 3 weeks. I want to thank my pastors that's been calling me, reaching out about what's been taking place down here in City Council. So at this point, I've never, ever came down here, not one time in about 10 months, and ever called anybody out their name. I've only expressed my concerns about what we're doing with our tax dollars, right? And for this gentleman, for 2 weeks, first you called me out my name, then last Monday you made threats to me, and you think you have legislative immunity, which you do not have legislative immunity. And if you want to hide behind that, go right ahead, because you don't have civil immunity, okay? And it's time that this gentleman, who has a history of calling people out of their names, this is very unprofessional in this day and time. And we can no longer accept it as a community, because we want leaders that respect taxpayers and people's opinions about what's going on in their communities. And this guy fails to do that, okay? Now I want to flip the page. It's three individuals down here that I am going to systematically move. Period. I'm going to move you legally, policies, procedures. That's what I'm professional at. That's what I know best. Legal, policies, procedures. And I'm going to bust everything down here from policies and procedures. You can't hide from policies and procedures and laws. They're undefeated. And I'm here to show you guys that, because this dummy is an educated dummy. This dummy is an educated man that understands law, understands business, and understands his community, which we don't have a lot of people down here that seem to understand that right now. We have a failed leadership by Blaine, you're a failed leader. Period, point blank. Anytime you guys come out from now on, I'm going to point out what you're not doing. Brian Kasich, I'm reading your paperwork. You're not listed nowhere with having a public office. But in your paperwork, you're billing the taxpayers about public paperwork. That is a straight violation. And everybody think that this is the game. This community is watching. These pastors are watching. These are voters, and they're going to show y'all when it's election time. Each and every last one of y'all, if you're not doing your jobs, get ready. Get ready. I'm promising you that. I have my own money. I got $50K behind me. You know what I'm going to save it for? For one of y'all's failed campaign promises, so I can get you back out of there if you slip in there, which I don't think a lot of y'all are going to be in there, okay? I can guarantee y'all that. The community is tired of the failed leadership by 5 members down here. 5 of y'all, and y'all have been systematically breaking this community. Y'all have been systematically making bad decisions, and it's time that we go in a new direction. We do not appreciate your leadership. We don't appreciate Kasich leadership. We don't appreciate Pulisic leadership. We are tired, and I mean tired. And it's time you guys start to address what's really need to be addressed, and that's real issues in the community.
Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Brenda Biggerstaff from Ward 9. Brenda Biggerstaff is here to talk about former council president, consent decree, disrespect council, and she's not representing anyone, and she's not being paid by anyone.
I'm just going to wait to see if everybody's going to be looking first. I got y'all attention. Thank you. First, I want to shout out to Naomi Bickerstaff. It was her 86th birthday yesterday. Woo, woo. That was my cousin. So, you know, I'm sitting there looking Blaine while Mr. Houston was talking, and it's just not funny. I don't think nothing is funny. Pulisic, when you spoke on the 20th of, it was the 21st of April, you indicated that you tried to talk about George Forbes. So I don't think you spoke with George Forbes, but you want people to think that you spoke with George Forbes. George Forbes don't have nothing to do with this today. And if you do your history, George Forbes wanted the consent decree to come here back in 2002. He wanted it here back in 2002, so you slipped up on that one. So Councilwoman Gray, Councilman Slife, thank you for showing up for the court status hearing with Judge Oliver. And let me tell you what Judge Oliver said. Judge Oliver said he knows this is long, it's drawn out, and he said it costs us a lot of money. And he said what he's going to do, since it's a concern, is meet with both parties monthly so he could move the consent decree along. But if some of you would have come instead of just 2, you could have heard that. So at the end of the day, we want them to come into 100% compliance. I explained this to the law director. This has to happen so it doesn't go back to the same old ways. We have to come out of those ways. We have to do what the people want them to do. Constitutional policing. And guess what? I saw some cadets today leaving from the police department. I think it was about 50 of them. And I took some pictures of them. And I didn't want to walk up to them and say, please don't get on this department because it's corrupt. But I would like to walk up to them and say, hey, the police department, are they doing better than they were when the consent decree first came? Yes, they are. But we want you guys, Cleveland Police, we want you to get to 100% or as close as you can. So when the consent decree leaves, it doesn't have to go back. That's what the citizens want in this city. This is what we want, Mr. Kasich, Councilman Kasich. We want 100%, 100%. That's AAA. Just like Calvin, when we talk to our kids in school, we want them to do the best of the best. When I was in college, the professor said, you got a B- Biggerstaff, you know you can get an A. Go back and write that paper over. And then Jenny Spencer, I hope November the 2nd go real slow. I don't want to see you go. Because what I like about you, at least you listen. Maybe your other colleagues can pick up the type of behavior you have.
Thank you. Next, we have Fauzi Badour. Fauzi Badour is from Ward 11, here to talk about 10022 Madison Avenue, Coalition for a Better Life, not being paid by anyone.
Good evening, all. I have a friend, veteran with 5 Purple Hearts, lives right across the street from my garden on Goodell Avenue. 2 weeks ago, his assistant, Stephanie, called me. She needs help. I ran in there. It took us like an hour and 10 minutes to take him from his living room to his car, to her car. He lost a breath, so we called 911, and within seconds, a fire truck came. The fire truck revived him, gave him breath and stuff like that until the ambulance came. And I had a chance to talk to those firemen, and they told me about the situation in that fire station number 23. I cried. I honestly cried because it's bad health situation for them. I didn't know that before. I'm gonna cry now. So Mayor Bibb is not.
He there, he over there.
Mayor Bibb, I would never ask this. I never thought I would ask you this, but the firemen deserve a better place. And we need to buy that thing or get it through eminent domain, whatever works. The firemen need new fire station. When we start coming here, we never seek animosity with this council. You're our council. We're your community, with Danny or anybody else. But we seek unity. We ask us and you to be united in creating safety for a community. And the community is yours as much as is ours. Now, let's hope that fire station can bring us all back together. Danny, I'm sorry if I ever offended you. As a person, you are very good. I always thought you are a very good man. I was addressing your representation. But as a person, I always respected you. I always respected everyone. As for Jenny Spencer, while I have time, I watched you, we watched you that 3 Tuesdays ago when you said you voted no. You were the hero. You are our hero. You will be in our hearts and everyone of our community, in Cadell and you'll be in the hearts of everyone in our community forever, because you're great and you represented our community faithfully. Thank you so much, Jenny. Thank you.
Next, we have Hiawatha Powell. Hiawatha Powell is from Ward 8, here to talk about the topic of city council. He's not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone.
Greetings, everybody. I want y'all to turn to the young people and look at these young people that's in the audience, because they deserve better. They deserve good leadership. They deserve people who have a moral compass. They deserve accountability, and they deserve a brighter future. It's something when you turn on, the city of Cleveland is known for, we have a Cleveland crime page. Well, guess who most likely you to see when you open the Cleveland crime page? Our young people over there. You know, I didn't get a chance to get up here the one time it came, and there was a young girl, she was 14 years of age. And she came up and she stood before the men and the women of council, and she talked about how she was impacted and how she was shot. And then she asked y'all, she said, who's going to stand up and protect me? Not one man in council got up and said, we're going to protect you. None of you. There was one person who was here, Stephanie House. She went up there and she consoled the young lady and said, you know, she heard her cries, she's going to protect her. It used to be that the seniors, the young people, the women, the children, those were the people that we looked out, those were the people that we protected. But it looked like the people that we have in leadership, you guys protect the wrong people. You know, one of the things that y'all end up doing that same day or a week later, there was a gentleman by the name of Samir Muhammad. And you guys all know the story behind that, how he served time, for bribery and everything. But y'all had all the kind words to say about that man who served prison time for bribery, and y'all even point him to the housing board. And he's one of the lead people in here who, when it comes down to getting gas stations in the neighborhood, one of the things is that we looked at some of the crime that happened over the last 3 years. There was 28 shootings, 3 deaths at the gas station. But for some reason, some of you council people think it's a good idea to open up more gas stations. Y'all want to bring more alcohol? Y'all want to bring more vapes for our young people? More beer and alcohol? These are the things that y'all said that the neighborhood needs. No, the neighborhood needs good people, good leadership. They need accountability from everybody. We want the police to be accountable. We need for you guys to be accountable. Set the example for the young people. Set the example. They deserve better. They deserve a brighter future. When they come in here, yeah, it looks good for y'all to be in the suits and ties, and we know it's election time and everybody's trying to put on a good presentation. We're not fooled. And most of us have come down here out of frustration, and you know what? If y'all want to fight, guess what? We're ready to fight. We're ready to stand and be accountable and fight back.
Time. Next, we have Samira Rice. Samira Rice is from Ward 15, talk about City Council, and she represents the Tamir Rice Foundation, not being paid by anyone. Is Samira Rice here? Samira Rice? Samira Rice going once, going twice. She's not here. Next, we'll go to Xavier Avery from Ward 3, here to talk about CMSD new calendar for Davis Aerospace and Maritime Academy. And he's not representing anyone, not being paid by anyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Xavier Avery. I'm currently a junior who participated in many of the opportunities that the year-round calendar makes possible. I'm here to advocate for the community of Davis Aerospace and Maritime. This includes all of our students, staff, parents, and Argonaut. Davis is a top 3 rated school. We have no admission requirements. We have a 3.5 star rating while CMSD has 3 stars. Our graduation rate is 81% while the district is at 77%. The average SAT score is 913 while the district is 816. We have a 10% higher performance index than the district. Davis has received the Momentum Award for the past 2 years due to its continued growth. We believe that the success of Davis is strongly tied to our year-round calendar. I'm here because CMSD wants to switch our school from a year-round calendar to a traditional calendar. We stand here together so that Davis can stay on a year-round calendar. We ask for support with the amazing opportunities that Davis provides while letting Davis stay the unique school that we all know it as. There are many unique opportunities that are in jeopardy of being lost if this switch is to be approved. Starting in August, all the freshmen are exposed to a 6-week program called Aqua Immersion. During this program, the freshmen are able to gain hands-on experience on small watercrafts. They are also taught how to swim in our beginning weeks of August while the weather is still nice. We have many after-school programs that are relying on our year-round calendar. These programs provide the students with the hours, experience, and training necessary for the internships that are required by the FAA and Coast Guard. These internships take place during our school time in June, July, and August. During this time, the students who participate in these internships are still supported by the staff of Davis and Argonaut due to the simple fact of having the year-round calendar. All of this wouldn't be possible without the weather that we have during these months, which would be stripped from us if it switched to a traditional calendar. Many students take advantage of our extended breaks to participate in the programs. Davis also has specific classes where the curriculums give students the opportunity to advance in these fields. Teachers take students on educational trips during school in the summer. Many students believe that the year-round calendar helped them retain past information from previous years due to our summer being shorter. Research suggests that students with a traditional calendar may lose up to 20% of their reading gains and 27% of their math gains. Students who also believe that our extended breaks allow them to further their extracurricular and educational activities that take place outside of school hours. The current students at Davis are passionate about keeping the year-round calendar not only for themselves but for the future students of Davis. We have family members and other future students who plan to attend Davis because of the year-round calendar and all the opportunities that Davis makes possible with the current schedule. I ask you now, do you expect us to leave the future of our school to a district that hopes and believes our programs will continue to flourish?
Time. Thank you. Next, we have Kimberly Brown from Ward 1. They talk about a food desert and community filth, and Kimberly Brown is not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Is Kimberly Brown here? Kimberly Brown has the floor. Ms. Brown, you have the floor.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I need to address the issue that's going on in Cleveland Ward 5. I have a homeowner with me here. The address is 2948 East 61st Street. It's a dump site. The property is so bad that the property is now being destroyed by the trees, and they also have a lot of bugs, a lot of filth, a lot of rodents, a lot of lantern flies. Please take care of that. The property owner called City Hall numerous times, and nothing has been done. So, because we are voters, and you guys are always asking us for our vote, can you please take care of that property? Once again, it's 2948 61st Street, number one. Number two, I want to talk about the food desert that's over there on 156 and Lakeshore. I'm over there every day. I manage about 20 to 30 properties, and it's very unfortunate that the Dollar General has now been closed. And if you've been over there, then you know that the population is compiled of seniors and those who are disabled. The question is, what are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do? We know that Dave's left about 4.5 years ago, and right now, every month, there's a shuttle bus that takes some of the seniors from the population over to Dave's to shop. But what are they to do in the middle of the night if there's a crisis? I know that people are busy. I know about the competitive edge and the front move advantage, but at some point in time, that should be an urgent need. Our seniors, they need their grocery stores. The people in that community need to be fed. If you go on the west side, they're fed. If you go on the east side, they are not. I'm simply asking you to put down your pens, put your thinking caps on, and please help them. Remove that food desert and give them seniors some hope, some love, and something to look forward to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have James Jermalik from Parma to talk about St. Vincent's Charity Hospital. He is not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone.
I decided to put the last part first, so if it doesn't sound coordinated, because I always get cut off. I don't have enough time. Okay, so say a little prayer. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. You want to see God in action? Right here. You're going to see it in action. I didn't know that woman was going to speak about a 93-year-old. Well, I got a story to beat it because I turned it around. Okay, so you see God in action. This doctor, he says medicine is dealing with a whole person. And this modern medicine, they give you 15 minutes, they take an exam, and they charge you $625. It was on television even. When all of a sudden they closed the hospital, there had been specials on him on Channel 5 and Channel 3 because he's 102 years old and wants to keep working. He was very upset when St. Vincent Charity closed down. He wanted to keep working there as a doctor at 102 years old. He's in the Guinness Books of Record. I wrote to the Pope asking for a moratorium of 3 months to keep the hospital open to treat babies from Gaza, where the suffering is beyond anything we can imagine. I sent a message to him on Monday of Holy Week, and it probably got to him just about when he died, since I sent it express. J.D. Vance, senator from this state, vice president, was with the Pope. So my message by the mail made its visitation, him in person with the Pope, out of all the dignitaries in the country. So I thought, boy, that's a sign to me. I'm going to send that message to all the cardinals. Jesus wants them to read that. Okay, the Pope said that, this Pope that died had said about what is going on in Gaza. He said, this isn't war, this is cruelty toward children. It touches the heart. When all the hospitals have been reduced to almost non-functioning level, it doesn't make sense to tear down a perfectly good hospital whose mission was charity. You read this stuff, people are getting operations without anesthesia, okay? They're using dirty bandages and stuff to gauze and stuff on other patients. Everybody is sick there, even the doctors and the nurses. People with burn wounds are outside, and doctor has a brain of a child going through his hand. Pregnant women are almost all miscarrying. It's like something that we've never even seen. The idea is to keep it a capital hospital. When Martin Luther King was hurt and had to be taken to a hospital, he told the ambulance driver to take him to a Catholic hospital because he said, I know they will take good care of me. It was across town, not the closest hospital. But he knew the mission.
Time, thank you.
What?
Time, thank you.
People.
Time, thank you, sir.
You want the Constitution?
Time, sir, thank you. Sir, time, thank you. Next, we have Elisa Avery from Cleveland to talk about CMSD new calendar for Davis Aerospace and Maritime High School, and not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Elisa, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor, for this moment. Thank you, Mayor Bibb and City Councilmen and women, for lending me your ears. I stand here as a proud citizen of Cleveland since 3 years old, a taxpayer since 2006, a proud parent since 2008 and 2012, and an educator since 2018. My oldest son has just spoken today of the importance of how, by simply reducing to a traditional school year, it would negatively impact Davis Aerospace Maritime High School program and potentially can jeopardize its partnership with Argonaut. Xavier since kindergarten has been an honor roll school student, and he was accepted to Bard Early College, John Hay Academy campus, and Davis Aerospace and Maritime. However, he chose Davis due to its programs that no other CMSD offers. Just like money talks, well, I know quite well that data talks in education. That is how we educators determine what is working and how to get our students to grow. And when you compare Davis's data of accomplishments from growth and performance to the overall CMSD data amongst majority of its schools, Davis is already providing the kind of quality that Dr. Morgan and the board is wanting for all our students. So my question here is, Mayor Bibb and President Chairman and Cleveland councilmen and women, if the building brighter future is the goal for our current and future youth generations to come, and where families are staying and raising their children, or where families are moving into town due to its education opportunities, just like what it is being currently offered at Davis, we, the families, taxpayers, and students don't truly have a vote or saying into any of these decisions. However, you do. Can you really know all this valuable information of this school from the data provided, even from Argonaut's direct owner, stating to CMSD's board the detrimental impact it would do to traditional school year and still choose to do nothing? For our future city of engineers, scientists, pilots, captains, Coast Guards, marine biologists, astronauts, etc., is this not worth investing money into? Davis is already a neutral ground, not east, not west, accessible to all, and with great partnerships with Berks Lake Airport, Port of Cleveland's board, NASA, U.S. Coast Guard, etc. Thank you again for listening, and I hope tomorrow you stand up to vote like the students have for their education, for the better future, and for not counting on words like hope and believe our programs will be fine. You have an opportunity and a responsibility to act for our children, the families, and taxpayers you serve to keep our schools successful like Davis Aerospace and Maritime with an all-year-round school. Thank you again.
That ends public comment. Madam Clerk, are there any condolence resolutions?
Resolutions of condolence by Councilmember Griffin for Deborah Ann Hansen, by Councilmember Hairston for Mary Ann Shotwell, by Councilmember Harsh for David Lynn Thomas, by Councilmember Conwell for Ella Louise Cleveland, by Councilmember Polensik for Robert C. Townsend.
Thank you. Are there any other condolence resolutions?
President, this Mary Ann Shotwell, is that the one from, she's gone, from around East 99th to St. Clair?
I'm not sure, but I believe that is the case. But Anthony's not here. Councilman Harrison's not here.
It's with Anthony? Yeah, put me down with her as well. Great person, great activist, great person. Very active.
If Councilman Harrison doesn't mind, I would like to be added to that as well.
Yeah, very active.
So noted.
Thank you. Are there any other condolence resolutions? Seeing no other condolence resolutions, would council members rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. Are there any congratulatory resolutions?
Resolutions of congratulations by Councilmember Jones for Salvatore Buca, by Councilmember House Jones for Black Environmental Leaders Association, by Councilmember Santana for Margie Pura Salsa Colon, by Councilmember Griffin for Dr. C.J. Matthews and Jacqueline Matthews on their 37th pastoral anniversary, by Councilmember Griffin for Pastor C.J. Matthews II on his 4th pastoral anniversary, by Councilmember Starr for Sardis Baptist Church on their 100th anniversary. Resolutions of recognition by Councilmember Griffin for Henry Joseph Hilo, by Councilmember Griffin for Roseanne Hilo.
Thank you. Do we have any presentations? Councilman Richard Starr, and if we could open up the well for the gentleman that he's honoring tonight. If we could open up the well for the gentlemen that are coming up for Councilman Starr. Y'all can fill up all around here, all of this, everything, all of this. Come up here, come here on the, what's the name of it? Y'all can fill in all of this, fill in all the way around.
Read your names.
How y'all doing?
Read your names.
Come up, y'all can fill,
Come around.
Y'all can fill in around. Fill in around.
Look around, look around.
Y'all can come up all the way around here, top and everything. Fill in right here.
Yep, we're gonna do it. I got you.
Fill in all around.
I heard that, Casey. I heard that. Yeah, so the secret is I have not grown as far as height since 8th grade. That is a fact. Since my colleagues all think that was real funny. Tonight, we have an opportunity to honor George Washington Carver basketball team on a 19-0 record and a championship for the city of Cleveland. Today is special because I graduated from George Washington Carver back in the 90s when somebody else was here writing policy still. At the end of the day, it is just a great opportunity to bring our children here to just acknowledge them for the work they have. You know, I'm a lifelong Ward 5 baby, went through all the middle schools, elementary schools, and even East Technical High School, and I understand what Ward 5 is. So it's just an honor for me to bring George Washington Carver down here. And they had a chance to eat food in the rotunda and kick it with Community Relations Board as well as Director Angela Shute-Woodson and our wonderful staff, but also just to honor our kids. You know, today was a very important day for us. We talked about gun violence in the city of Cleveland, but this is an opportunity for us to be able to highlight the great needs of our kids. And we want to make sure these kids behind us are able to continue to be successful. So we need to wrap our arms around them and also congratulate them on being the champions that they are. So congratulations, George Washington Carver. And last but not least, major shout out to Principal Harvey, Dean. Principal, she does her thing. She does not like to be in the limelight or nothing, but she works hard and every day to make sure our kids have a great place to go to. So as an alumni of George Washington Carver, I'm just honored to be able to bring our kids today down here and just acknowledge them. Thank you. You got a new iPad. Right.
Great job. 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 Keep up the good work. All right, Madam Clerk, first reading emergency ordinances referred for administrative review and committee review. Oh, communications.
From the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, file number 589-2025, regarding a new license application at 4323 Payne Avenue, Ward 7. File number 590-2025, regarding economic development transfer application at 2121 Euclid Avenue, Ward 5. File number 591-2025, regarding a stock application at 7310 Franklin Boulevard, Ward 15. File number 592-2025, regarding a transfer of ownership application at 3671 West 130th Street, Ward 16. File number 593-2025, regarding a new license application at 4247 Fulton Road, Ward 13. File number 594-2025, regarding a transfer of ownership application at 11526-28 Clifton Boulevard, Ward 15.
Thank you. First reading emergency ordinances referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 557-2025 by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Innovation and Technology to employ one or more consultants, computer software developers, or vendors, or one or more firms of consultants, computer software developers, or vendors necessary to implement various technology projects, services, and upgrades to existing systems under the 2025 ITS Capital Project Plan, other related professional services to implement the plan, and to enter into various contracts to implement this ordinance. Ordinance 558-2025 by Council Members Conwell and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance on behalf of the Office of Prevention, Intervention, and Opportunity for Youth and Young Adults to enter into one or more contracts with Karamu House to provide the out-of-school time theater arts program for a period of 12 months with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Finance. Ordinance 559-2025 by Council Members Conwell and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance on behalf of the Office of Prevention, Intervention, and Opportunity for Youth and Young Adults to enter into one or more contracts with Rhonda Crowder and Associates, LLC for providing the out-of-school time marketing program for a period of 12 months with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Finance. Ordinance 560-2025 by Council Members Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Safety to lease certain property located at 7818 Kinsman Road to Vanguards of Cleveland for the purpose to use as a community resource center and a minority public safety museum for a term of 30 years with 2 30-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Public Safety. Ordinance 561-2025 by Council Members McCormack, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, approving the application to add certain parcels of real property to the North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority District and to amend the petition for establishment of the North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority as a new community authority and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 565-2025 by Council Members Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Safety to apply for and accept a grant from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services for fiscal year 25 Recovery Ohio Law Enforcement Grant Program to provide funding for the operation of the Cartel Gang Narcotics Laundering Task Force. Ordinance 566-2025 by Council Members Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Assistant Director of the Civil Service Commission to employ one or more professional consultants to develop, administer, and grade promotional examinations for the Division of Police and Fire, Department of Public Safety. Ordinance 568-2025 by Councilmember Griffin to supplement the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio by amending Section 121.10 as amended, relating to consultant review committee approval required for unbid services agreements. Ordinance 569, 2025, by Council Members Conwell, Bishop, and Hairston, by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Capital Projects to issue a permit to the Cleveland Public Library, Martin Luther King Jr. branch, to encroach into the public right-of-way of Euclid Avenue by installing, using, and maintaining a freestanding monument sign.
Thank you. First reading, emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 570, 2025, by Councilmember Kelly, authorizing the Director of Department of Public Health to enter into agreement with B. Riley Sober House for Peer Support Specialist Project through the use of Ward 11 casino revenue funds. Ordinance 571, 2025, by Councilmember House Jones, authorizing the Director of Department of Public Safety to enter into agreement with Midtown Cleveland for the 2025 Asian Expo through the use of Ward 7 casino revenue funds. Ordinance 572, 2025, by Councilmembers House Jones and Conwell, authorizing the Director of Department of Community Development to enter into agreement with Catholic Charities Corporation for the public purpose of providing the Fatima Family Center after-school program through the use of Wards 7 and 9 casino revenue funds. Ordinance 573, 2025, by Councilmember Spencer, authorizing the Director of Department of Public Safety to enter into agreement with Northwest Neighborhoods Community Development Corporation for the Summer Safety Film Series 2025 through the use of Ward 15 casino revenue funds.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Polensek, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember Starr.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Thank you. First reading, ordinance referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 567, 2025, by Councilmember McCormack, changing the use, area, and height districts of parcels of land north and south of Lorraine Avenue between West 32nd Street and Columbus Road.
First reading, emergency resolutions to be adopted.
Resolution 574, 2020.
Excuse me?
First, to be introduced.
First reading, ordinance referred for administrative review and committee review. Now we're on resolutions.
To be introduced.
First reading, emergency resolutions to be adopted.
Resolution 562, 2025, by Councilmember Starr, declaring gun violence a public health crisis and pledging to work to reduce the pervasiveness of gun violence in the city of Cleveland. Resolution 563, 2025, by Councilmember Starr, recognizing May 1st to May 7th, 2025 as Gun Violence Survivors Week in Cleveland. Resolution 564, 2025, by Councilmembers McCormack, Hairston, and Griffin, by departmental request, determining the sufficiency of the application to add certain parcels of real property to the North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority District and to amend the petition for establishment of the North Coast Waterfront New Community Authority as a new community authority and setting a date for a public hearing under Chapter 349 of the Revised Code and declaring an emergency. Resolution 575, 2025, by Councilmember House Jones, withdrawing objection to the transfer of location of a D1, D2, D3, D3A liquor permit at 2400 Superior Avenue and repealing Resolution 334, 2025, objecting to said permit.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Polensek, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember Starr.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on adoption.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Thank you. Second reading, emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 104, 2025 as amended by Mayor Bishop, by Mayor Bibb and council members Santana, Slife, House Jones, Griffin, McCormack, Bishop, Conwell, Hairston, Casey, Polensek, and Spencer, to supplement the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio by enacting new sections 669:01 to 07 and 99 relating to unlawful and discriminatory salary practices and to amend various sections of the codified ordinances. Ordinance 326, 2025 by council members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into one or more requirement contracts without competitive bidding with ADB Safegate Americas LLC for the purchase of equipment, parts, labor, and required services needed to maintain operational compliance of the airfield lighting control systems, including replacement parts and software for the Division of Airports Department of Port Control for a period not to exceed 2 years with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control.
Councilwoman Deborah Gray would like to be acknowledged on that point.
104, 2025.
And me.
Would like to be added?
And star.
Added.
And star.
Would like to be added to that
Yes.
piece of legislation.
Yes.
You guys got it?
So noted.
Councilman Starr, we got you. Okay, they're noted. They're on there added. All right, thank you. Please proceed.
Ordinance 379, 2025 by council members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the purchase and/or rental by one or more requirement contracts of machines, equipment, supplies, and parts needed to repair, replace, refurbish, maintain, upfit, and enhance vehicles, equipment, and machines, including labor, materials, installation, training, inspections, and related services for the various divisions of the Department of Port Control for a period of 1 year with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 385, 2025 by council members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into various written standard and requirement contracts for the purchase, lease, or lease with option to purchase of various on-road vehicles, apparatus, and off-road equipment, cabs, bodies, and accessories, equipment, and other aftermarket items necessary to equip the vehicles authorized for their intended purposes, including vehicle rehabilitation, training, and inspections as needed for the Department of Port Control for a period of 1 year with a one-year option to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 468, 2025 by council members Conwell, Griffin, and Santana by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Health to enter into a lease of certain space located at the Northern Ohio Blanket Mills Building at 3466 St. Rocco's Court, with Blanket Mills prime tenant or its designee for a term of 10 years for the public purpose of establishing and operating a healthcare clinic. Ordinance 502, 2025 by council members Conwell, Griffin, Bishop, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Health to enter into one or more contracts with Downtown Cleveland Alliance, the Centers for Families and Children, and other partners in homeless services for the purpose of continuing a home for every neighbor, a vision for housing our unsheltered community initiative, which is a direct-to-housing encampment resolution to bring people off the streets and into housing for the Department of Public Health for a period of 1 year with one option to renew for a period up to 1 year, exercisable by the Director of Public Health. Ordinance 503, 2025 as amended by council members Bishop, Casey, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Works on behalf of the Office of Sustainability to employ one or more professional consultants to manage the use of city-owned electric vehicle charging stations or electric vehicle service equipment, and to charge fees relating to the charging stations and equipment, and authorizing the director to enter into various written standard purchase and requirement contracts needed for materials, equipment, supplies, and services needed to maintain the stations, including labor when necessary, for the Department of Public Works.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Polensek, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage. Seconded by Councilmember Starr.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Thank you. Second reading emergency resolutions to be adopted.
Resolution 436, 2025, by Council Members Casey, House, Jones, Santana, Gray, Slife, Spencer, and Starr, adopting the Children's Outdoor Bill of Rights to declare the City of Cleveland's commitment to providing access to parks and green spaces and a wide variety of quality outdoor opportunities for every Cleveland child.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Polensek, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage. Seconded by Councilmember Starr.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Call the roll on adoption.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 15 yeas.
Thank you. Are there any introductions? Councilwoman Jenny Spencer.
Thank you, Council President. It is my pleasure to introduce Renee Barranca. Renee, I know I saw you. Oh, there she is. Renee Barranca, who's here from Western Reserve Land Conservancy, as well as Mary Macias, who's the director of the Footpath Foundation, and both are here this evening in recognition of the passage of Resolution 436, 2025, adopting the Children's Outdoor Bill of Rights to declare the City of Cleveland's commitment to providing access to parks and green spaces for every Cleveland child. Thank you.
I would like to ask if Mr. Travell Harp and all of the Neighborhood Leadership Institute grads, if they could please stand up. I know we had a chance to get together earlier. Please stand up. These are thousands of graduates from throughout the city of Cleveland. I know that myself, I believe Councilwoman Gray and others are graduates of this program, so it's an honor and a privilege to host y'all here today. Thank you all so much. Councilman Richard Starr.
Thank you, members of council. I definitely would like to acknowledge Miss Kathy McDonald here, St. Hyacinth Block Club, Street Club, president and founder. And then we also got Gary here, who calls and texts me about everything that happens in St. Hyacinth. So I love to welcome them both. Also, we have Tim Lewis here, and we also have, Aram is in here as well, from Red All Farms as well.
Thank you. Any other introductions? Seeing Councilwoman Jasmine Santana.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to introduce the chair of Cuyahoga Democratic Women's Caucus, Cindy Dempsey, who's out here.
All right. Announcements. Do we have any announcements? Any announcements? Seeing no announcements, miscellaneous, Councilwoman Rebecca Moore, Councilman Slife, Polensek, Harsh.
Thank you. Good evening, Council President. I wasn't expecting to rise tonight, but I am to do a combination of introductions, announcement, and miscellaneous. I have two fantastic Ward 12 residents here tonight, Ms. Zenobian Adams and Ms. Shalonda Pugh. Wave, everybody. And they are here. They are here as part of the NLI leadership class, which I know we've already recognized, and had hoped to make public comment tonight. And because they were not able to, I'm going to read some brief remarks that they had hoped to be able to make, and unfortunately they weren't able to. So good evening, Council President, esteemed members of City Council. I'm reading this on behalf of Ms. Zenobian Adams, and she is a proud member of the Neighborhood Leadership Institute Class 41 cohort. It is an honor to stand before you today and represent a dynamic, diverse group of leaders committed to strengthening our communities. Our class includes professionals across many sectors: mental health, addiction recovery, housing, education, public transportation, and community sustainability. Organizations like Rust Belt Riders, Composting, Loretta's Helping Hands, that's Miss Shalonda, and Conversations in Leadership reflect our collective efforts to build a healthier, more unified Cleveland. We are deeply grateful for the guidance of our mentors, Emeritus Director Dawn Slocum and Executive Director Travell Harp, as well as invaluable support from our NLI coaches. Their dedication enables us to continue the important work of those who came before us, such as Dr. Reverend Cavanis, Ida Killingsworth, Leslie Curry, Betty Morgan, Harry Alexander, Anna Chapman, and W.M. Patterson. I would also like to acknowledge Pastor Luther Hill and W.M. Patterson grandsons, who are proudly part of the class of 41. In just 3 months, we've made meaningful progress. We've partnered with the African American Cultural Gardens and its leader, Obie Sheldon, and Rust Belt Riders Soil and Composting to promote pride in our heritage and healthier lifestyles. We're teaching our youth the values of leadership, service, and community sustainability. Rust Belt Riders has committed to a one-day composting training at 2 local schools, just one example of the real impact we're making on the ground. We've raised funds to support student membership for the African American Cultural Garden, benefiting Cleveland Metropolitan School District students and Ginn Thompson School for Girls, helping to complete the important symbol and legacy of learning. But this is only the beginning. As we continue, we stand by the belief, reach one community to teach one community. Through this principle, we aim to create a ripple effect, empowering neighborhoods to lift each other and create a lasting, transformative change. To City Council, we respectfully ask for your partnership. We invite each council person to connect with the Neighborhood Leadership Institute leadership, support our vision, and help us build safer, healthier communities through unity, education, and community sustainability. Together, we can elevate Cleveland to new heights. Neighborhood Leadership Institute is a jewel in our city and has been instrumental in mentoring leaders. Thank you for your time, your service, and your leadership to a brighter future for the city of Cleveland. This is the announcement part, folks. We are also inviting you to join us on May 22nd, 2025 for Class of 41's presentations on crime and safety, health and wellness, housing and youth. This event will be held at the Neighborhood Leadership Institute headquarters at 5246 Broadway Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44127. Doors open at 6 p.m. with light refreshments and presentations beginning shortly after that. And they look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much, everybody, for the time.
Thank you, Councilwoman Moore. Councilman Charles Slife.
We'll keep it short. We're nearing the end of the first quarter. The Cavs are up by about 25 points. As we all know, yes, we're in the playoffs. There's a giant banner out front that says playoffs, presented by Phantom Fireworks. They're also going to be presenting us with a bunch of phone calls about illegal fireworks. But that's something else. Noodle over it. It's a fun contradiction. But anyway, I actually rise tonight to talk about Ordinance 104-2025. Thank you to all of my colleagues for your support. And there's many thank yous, of course, Mayor Bibb and your administration for all of your work for this ordinance. Abby Westbrook from the Collaborate Cleveland, Grace Heffernan from the Neo Worker Center, Yanela Sims from SEIU, John Ryan from the Fair Employment Wage Board, our own staff, Brooke Saven, Jennifer Heinold O'Leary. And we've talked about this at length, but this ordinance does 2 critical things. One, when people in Cleveland are applying for a job, it gives them the information up front about what that job's looking to pay, a pay range. I think many of us have been in situations where we've applied for a job only to find out after going through all that effort that it's not going to meet where we need to be. And then it also allows people who have historically been held back and underpaid to not continue to be held harmless for having been underpaid historically. It makes sure that people are paid what they deserve. And look, we represent a community that it's a predominantly low-income community. There's a lot of people in the city of Cleveland who look like me who are underpaid. But when you break down the demographics even further, how this impacts members of this community that don't look like me. It's far more acute, of people just historically, consistently not being paid as much as they're owed. When you break it down to black women, on average they make 66 cents on the dollar compared to white men. For Latinas, it's even lower at 58 cents. So this is one thing that we can do here in Cleveland, partner with other cities that are already doing this in Ohio to make sure that the people who want to live in our community and work in our community are being able to be paid a wage that is going to be able to sustain them, sustain their families. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to our partners inside and outside of the building. And this is a really momentous moment for this body and this building. Thanks.
Thank you. Have Councilman Michael Polensek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, too. I'm going to rise and mention about 104, ordinance 104 as well. I want to thank the mayor, the administration, you, Mr. President. You know, the hearing today and the hearings before this, as I mentioned today at the table, I kept thinking of my mother trying to raise 4 kids on her own, at times, most of the time when I was a kid on public assistance. But when she did have a job, I can remember her telling her friends that she wasn't getting paid the same as her male counterparts. I can remember her telling that. It's something that has bothered me all my life. And so to come today to this point where Cleveland City Council administration is saying to employers, you're not going to discriminate against people. You can do the same job, you're going to get paid equally. So again, I want to thank all of us, all of you, the mayor, administration, for that. I also want to comment, I want to congratulate and thank my colleague, Councilman Starr. He's said it today, his ward's been the epicenter of juvenile violence. And we know that violence doesn't happen because of one issue or one thing, but there's no doubt we need partners. We need county partners, we need state partners, we need federal partners. And when the people in Columbus make it easier to obtain guns that are all over our streets, we need to have their help. They have done us a great disservice in this city by providing this environment where everybody and their grandmother can have a gun, and we're paying a severe price for it. But let me go back to some other things again, because Mr. Chairman, as I said 2 weeks ago, I'm done. I'm done taking it from people. I'm done hearing it. So I want to just direct my comments to Ms. Bickerstaff. Ms. Bickerstaff, you were kind of mild tonight, Ms. Bickerstaff. Ms. Bickerstaff,
we're going to have order. You cannot disrupt the meeting.
You were kind of mild tonight.
You are not able to disrupt the meeting. Councilman, hold tight for a moment.
Thank you.
Ms. Bickerstaff, you are not supposed to interrupt the meeting.
Yes.
You had your opportunity to make comments. It is Councilman Polensek. Councilman, you have the floor.
So, Mr. Chairman, unless Ms. Bickerstaff has a crystal ball, she doesn't know who I speak to. So please, Ms. Bickerstaff, George Forbes is a friend of mine. As the council president knows, I speak to the council president, okay? See, Mr. Chairman, this is what you get. You get the bullies that come down to bully us, And so, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, that takes me into the last, Mr. Houston. I don't know if they throw him out of Bedford Heights on Monday night, that he has to come down here and try to make our life miserable and attack this body. But, Mr. Chairman, at the end of the day, let me just say this. You know, I grew up in the roughest, toughest neighbor in the city of Cleveland, bar none, Collinwood. Nobody's going to intimidate me. Nobody's going to scare me, Mr. Chairman, and nobody's going to bully me, Mr. Chairman.
If he gets interrupted again, we will instruct you to remove yourself. You had your opportunity to make comments. It is his opportunity to make comments.
So see,
Councilman, please proceed.
So, Mr. Chairman, again, what you see, and I just want to say this, I appreciate you, Mr. Chairman, for the way you've conducted our meetings. You know, at some point, we're going to have a discussion about public comment. Do we start to have a lottery? So the citizens who really want to come down here from our neighborhoods and express themselves have an opportunity? We're going to have that discussion here. Because, again, we have people coming down here that just want to attack, who want to threaten, who want to bully us. But, again, Mr. Chairman, as I said 2 weeks ago, I'm done with being bullied. I'm not taking it from anybody. So if people want to come down and express their thoughts on a piece of legislation, an issue, respectfully, I'm willing to listen. But I want to say again, and I'll finish on this point, CPD is constitutionally policing in this city. I want to say that again. There's this mindset that somehow the Cleveland Police Department is operating in a rogue manner. If I felt that they were not complying with the consent decree, as I've said before, I'd say that, because I'm not afraid of anybody in here. But at the end of the day, the city administration, CPD, has made great strides with the consent decree. Great strides. Are we where we need to be totally? No. But I'm trying to think of the figure. We spent somewhere, we, the taxpayers, spent somewhere around $45 million so far on the consent decree with no end in sight. And when you run a 100-dash race, or you run a race with hurdles over 100 yards, you know the hurdles that are there, and you know you have to get over to get to the end. But they keep throwing hurdles in front of us. They keep throwing roadblocks in front of the Cleveland Division of Police. So at some point, we're going to have to figure out how to get to the end of this. Because if not, we're going to continue to spend money and money and money, which could go for goods and services in our neighborhood. So I want to say that again to the residents who are watching it. I think CPD is trying to do the best job they can. I'm not going to lambast the mayor, the chief of police, the safety director, Dr. Anderson. I think he's done an excellent job. We got to get to the end of it. But again, there's some people, let's be very blunt, that don't want us to get to the end. For some reason, want this thing to go on forever. Why? I don't know. They got private agendas here. Our agenda should be making Cleveland Police Department the best they can be. But at the end of the day, Mr. Chairman, to my honorable colleagues, taking it, having people disagree with us is one thing. Having people threaten us and bully us is a whole nother thing. And I can tell you right now, this one ain't taking it because they're threatening and bullying the wrong person. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Chris Harsh, Councilman Christopher Harsh. And Councilman Harsh is asked for extra time.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm rising tonight to speak. Tomorrow night, the Cleveland School Board will take a vote on whether or not to slash extended minutes and cut down extended school years. And I want to take a moment to thank the students from Davis Aerospace Maritime who came down here tonight. Can we please give them a round of applause? Did you ever think in your life that you would see students coming down to protest in favor of more school, a longer day and a longer school year? That's what we're experiencing here. Students are organized and protesting for longer years and for more minutes because their school is succeeding for them. And that is really important for us. We celebrate a lot of student athletes in this room. We bring them down and we should celebrate them. We should always celebrate excellence when our students experience excellence. But what we don't do is we don't celebrate those increased SAT scores. We don't celebrate those increased star ratings when they've got a 3.5-star school. We don't celebrate those because, I don't know, it doesn't get as much glitz and glamour and it doesn't get as much rah-rah going for us. But that is the achievement that attracts people to our school district. I'm not lying when I tell you that people bring their children into the city of Cleveland to attend some of our schools. It is an absolute draw between say yes, between having a slate of school options that allow parents to choose schools that are tailored for their students' need. And that's what equity is. Equity is giving people what they need, not necessarily giving everyone the same thing. We all know that, right? We understand this concept. And right now, we've got a school system that gives parents and students the chance to choose a school that works for them, and now we're trying to take it away from them. And there's going to be a vote tomorrow night on whether or not to slash those minutes and slash those days. And these students are down here protesting to keep a longer school year and a longer school day, and we should thank them for being here. We should not lose fact that we are just placeholders for them. The city belongs to them. We are just here to hold down the fort until they can take over, right? They're the future of this city, and their academic success is directly tied to the success and the future of this city. Right now, there's a big problem in the CMSD, and we all know it. There's a $150 million gap that we've got to close, but we also all know the elephant in the room is school buildings. It's very easy to understand when population of school has gone down. We're down to about 34,000 students. We can seat about 50,000. We've got too many seats. That means too many buildings. That means too much excess when it comes to overhead. It's an easy math problem for all of us to understand. It's easy to talk to our residents about. We can explain when we have old, outdated schools that need to be shut down because they're not efficient. But instead of starting with that, which can generate $30 million a year and get us well over halfway to our savings, instead we're talking about academics, and we're talking about cutting 30 minutes from a class day and a couple of weeks from the extended year to save $4 to $9 million. We're looking at $4 to $9 million, and we're starting with that, taking the programs that students and parents want, and we're starting there instead of the elephant in the room, buildings. And I would ask Mayor Bibb to talk to the school board tonight before they vote on this. Let's hold off on voting on the minutes. Let's get this building conversation out of the way, because we know that's the big chunk of savings. Let's figure out how we can save as much money on overhead, on administrative efficiencies and all that before we start talking about taking minutes away from students. I think the reason I'm so passionate about this, aside from being the parent of CMSD students, my kids go to school downtown, Davis is downtown, is that we are sending the wrong message to the future generations of Cleveland homebuyers and the Cleveland residents. When we talk about going after the academics and the schoolroom experience, we should be talking about being efficient and using our money wisely, and that should never, ever, ever start with school programming. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for fighting for your school. It means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to your peers. I was out talking to some of these students the other day. Some of these students from Davis are going straight into jobs making $80,000 a year. This is, right? Yeah, go ahead and clap for that. This is a program that works. We should figure out how to replicate this school, how to get more of these schools, how to get more students enrolled in schools like this instead of figuring out how to take days and minutes away from them. So I hope that we can have some kind of impact. Let's push off this decision instead of making it tomorrow night. Let's wait until we can have the building conversation. And then when we know all the money that can be saved from all those other brick and mortar issues, then maybe we see where we're at and where we have to go. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Santana, you had your mic up. Did you want to wait, or did you put it down?
No,
Councilwoman Santana.
Were you before me? I don't want to take
Councilwoman, you up.
Okay, thank you. So I hesitated to stand up today because Councilman Slife did such a great job in introducing the legislation of 104 that passed today, pay transparency. But I wanted to share a personal story today. So today we heard this in finance, and I went home. I always go home after finance to eat my mom's great food. And we had 3 different generations there, kind of a very similar story to Councilman Polensek. It was my mom, 73 years old, my aunt, 65, and my cousin, 30, and then me in my 20s, yeah. And I shared this legislation. I was describing it to them, and they all started sharing these stories. So very similar to Councilman Polensek. My mom started sharing. She experienced this in all her jobs, right? Where they would ask her how much you got paid, and they would probably up it 10 cents or so. And so just hearing her stories, I was frustrated because I know how hard she worked, and she raised 3 kids on her own. So on my way home, here to City Council, I was just mad and just thinking, you start thinking about your childhood, right? But I quickly shifted my mind, and I started thinking, you know what, Jasmine? With all this stress of Washington coming down here, just with everything that we go through, your childhood, your mom, you were able to pass this legislation today, right? And be part of the change, right? This momentous time in our city of Cleveland. And so I wanted to say thank you. Thank you to everyone that was part of this legislation, because you're helping women from all across our city finally finally build a little bit of wealth. Not too much, right? But we're moving the needle on women's health and women's rights. So I want to thank you all, the administration. Austin Davis was phenomenal. Just everyone that was part of it, council colleagues Slife and Councilwoman House and Brooke Sabin and Jennifer O'Leary, just everyone was part of this. And so I would just end with this. With all this stress coming from Washington, right? Like, I don't even like to put on the news anymore. Let's focus on these local issues, and let's make a difference for our residents' life. And this is what this legislation does. So today, when you leave, pat yourself in the back and celebrate these small wins. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And to wrap us up, Councilman Richard Starr.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, colleagues, as well. I do second the comments that Councilman Chris Harsh made. We have to be strategic. We have to really think about this budget when it comes to our CMSD and really challenge what we have to do and understand reality. It is a $150 million gap, and we still trying to figure out how did they actually get here. But cutting kids' time out from school just to say you're going to cut a few dollars doesn't make sense. So that is something we definitely need to rally behind and get some support and figure out a solution with that. I definitely want to just say today has been a full day for me. What I mean by that is I serve as the tri-chair for the Reentry Coalition of Cuyahoga County. So today I was able to host a Reentry Month Building Pathways Home Housing Summit where we wanted to make sure those individuals coming home got a second chance at housing. You do not know how many people come home from prison and the first thing they do is sleep on a couch of somebody else's house. Then they get put out because you can't keep sleeping on somebody else's couch. So we hosted an event in Ward 5 at Cleveland State Law Department. So it was great to open the doors of Cleveland State so people could come down there and learn about some different things. In addition, today, I want to thank my colleagues for resolutions 562 as well as 563. 562 was declaring gun violence as a public health crisis in the city of Cleveland. What I mean by that is, I'm a numbers guy, and I look at the numbers from the lens of my understanding. From 2019 to 2024, December 31st, we had 953 homicides in the city of Cleveland. Of that number, 86% were black people that look like me, which means 825 people died in 6 years due to gun violence. If that is not a health crisis, if that is not a pandemic, I don't know what one is in the city of Cleveland. So we, together with the administration, with the health department, with Cuyahoga County, with the state, we need to find solutions. It's a shame that people in the city of Cleveland have access to a gun that they can get access to a decent meal. Over this weekend, I was strolling on Instagram, and I seen young people riding around in their cars on their Instagram story, waving AKs, extended clips, Glocks, just waving it like this is what I do. And I'm thinking like, how old are you? How do you get access to that gun? Why do you think it's a thing to show that you out here with a gun? Those are the things that we are faced with. And we have to understand, we have to be proactive with our approach and understand that police is reactive. They come when something happens. We need to get to the root cause and start helping saving these kids and also making sure we remove these barriers because they're crying out for help and they're doing it in a silly way, and we need to hold them accountable and try to get these guns off our street. In addition to that, I want to thank my colleagues, Councilman Kerry McCormick and Councilwoman House Jones, because we had some things that we needed to address with Cuyahoga County Council. First and foremost, Cuyahoga County needs to understand that the city of Cleveland is a part of Cuyahoga County. And what I mean by that is, sometimes because you're the large city, you got to do everything on your own, huh? That ain't even fair sometimes because we need help because everyone comes downtown. So we wrote a letter to Cuyahoga County Council and we shared it this afternoon where we told them we need to make sure downtown, which is the largest job center and the busiest area of Cuyahoga County, maintaining a visible and active presence of sheriff deputies in our downtown neighborhoods, it is essential for the following reason: enhance public safety. The Sheriff Department plays a vital role in maintaining order in downtown Cleveland, a hub of commerce, tourism, and community life. The visibility of sheriff deputies serves as a strong deterrent to crime and contributes to meaningful to the safety of the residents. the workers and visitors. We can't act like 20,000 residents don't live down there. We can't act like we don't want to go to happy hour. We can't act like we don't want to go to a basketball game. We cannot act like we don't want to go to a baseball game and just, hey, only Cleveland Police Department supposed to make sure everybody's safe. No, it needs to be a collective approach, and they need to continue to patrol. So if they want to pass resolutions and legislation and try to change policy to hurt our city and our county, then so be it. We need to stand up and fight them and challenge them and let them know this is not happening on our watch, and they need to roll up their sleeves and partner with us, because downtown is home to residents as well as everybody all over the county who come down there to support the efforts down there. So they need to patrol and they need to help. If they want to look at something, they should look at their policy on their pursuit patrol as opposed to saying you don't be able to patrol down here. We also need to understand that this is the city of Cleveland, and we have to fight for our residents, we have to fight for ourselves, but we need our county to do their job and support us. We can't keep making us cover all the social service supports that we need and organizations. We need some of that health and human service dollars. So declaring gun violence as a public health crisis would be a way to be able to do that. And I stand with you all, thanking y'all for supporting for adoption of 562. But then also we have 563, which we are declaring from May 1st to May 7th as Gun Violence Survivor Week in the city of Cleveland. And this May 7th, we will host a ghetto therapy men's night survivor of gun violence at Langston Shoe Center right on 70 9th and Quincy. So if you're free, come on down to Ward 5 on the border of Ward 6 so you can get some help, and also understand that we're dealing with a lot in the city of Cleveland, and we need good partners on all levels of branches of government to help support our initiatives in the city of Cleveland. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam Clerk, please excuse the absences.
By Councilmember Polensek, that the absence of Council Members Hairston and House Jones are hereby excused. Seconded by Councilmember Starr.
Thank you. Council is adjourned to the call of the chair. If you could remember that we will be out next Monday, May the 5th. The next council meeting will be May the 12th. Council is adjourned.